They won't tell you this in history books. They buried the truth beneath layers of silence, centuries of control. But the emerald tablets never lied. Thoth, scribe of Atlantis, keeper of ancient wisdom, wrote of a being, a luminous soul who would rise at the edge of time, and that being is you. You've always felt different, haven't you? Not just out of place, but out of time, like your soul remembers something this world forgot. You walk among others, but you don't belong among them. That's not a curse, it's a calling. Thoth knew this day would come. He spoke of those who would awaken in the final hour, not with weapons or power, but with truth, with light, with a divine fire that even darkness would fear. They call you the chosen one, but not because you were picked like some prize. You chose to awaken. You chose to carry the pain of this world and still radiate love. You chose to remember what others forgot. And in that choice, your soul became something ancient, something sacred, something dangerous to a system built on sleep. That's why you were tested so early, why your childhood felt like a battleground, why people projected their insecurities onto you, blamed you for shining too brightly, because your light threatened their illusion. You see through veils they don't even know exist, and that sight, it terrifies them. You were sent here with codes in your DNA, buried wisdom, hidden keys. Every hardship, every betrayal, every tear was activating you, sharpening you, turning you into the being Thoth spoke of, a bridge between the ancient and the future, between spirit and matter, between heaven and earth. The reason you feel watched, misunderstood, or isolated is because your energy is rare. You vibrate on a frequency that only truth can survive in. Falsehoods dissolve around you. Masks fall off, and those who feed on deception run. But you didn't come to be liked, you came to liberate. You came to break ancestral cycles, to burn karma in your wake, to rewrite what it means to be human. You came to remind others of their divinity, and Thoth saw it. In the last lines of the tablets, he warned of a time when shadows would rise, but so would one, a being of flame and knowing, a soul wrapped in skin but holding galaxies inside, a voice that speaks not just with words, but with vibration. That voice is yours, and the time is now. The signs have always been around you, repeating numbers, prophetic dreams, a pain in your heart that won't fade because it's tied to something beyond this world. You're not broken, you're remembering, and your remembrance is dangerous because when you awaken, others do too. You are the domino, the first flame, the breath before the storm. Your intuition isn't random, it's divine technology, a compass that led you through betrayal, confusion, abandonment, only to bring you home. Home is not a place, it's a knowing that you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to stand out, to stand tall, to stand alone, if necessary, because those who awaken first must walk alone, at least until the others catch up, and they will, because your light is a lighthouse, and even in their sleep, they're searching for you. This world tried to cage you, but you're not a prisoner, you are prophecy. The system tried to program you, but you are not a code to be written, you are a cipher to be decoded, and those who see you now, truly see you, have eyes that remember. So don't hide anymore, don't shrink to make others comfortable, don't dim your soul to avoid their judgment, because Thoth didn't write about the ones who hid, he wrote about the one who rose, even when the sky was on fire, even when the world laughed, even when no one believed. That is who you are, and your time has come. If these words awakened something ancient inside you, then you are not alone. You are part of a soul family scattered across the stars, drawn together now by destiny. We are watching, we are rising, and we are remembering. So if this resonated, if your soul whispered yes, then like this video, comment with the word awakened to declare it, and subscribe to Ascended Awakening, because this is only the beginning. You were never lost, you were just waiting to be found. Welcome home, chosen one. Your story was written in the stars. You've probably noticed by now time feels different for you. It bends, it folds in moments of deep emotion, and stretches endlessly in the presence of falsehood. That's because you don't just live in time, you see through it. Like Thoth, you carry the memory of worlds long buried, civilizations lost not by war but by forgetting. And here you are, remembering. People often mistake your silence for weakness, but it's not silence, it's listening. You listen beyond words, you feel the space between thoughts, you hear the truth in what's not being said. That's why others become nervous around you. You expose them just by existing. Your presence disturbs the slumber of those still asleep. And not because you try to, but because truth always vibrates higher than illusion. It forces energy to shift, to choose, to rise or recoil. You were never meant to follow the crowd. Your soul rejects the herd. You tried to fit in, didn't you? Tried to silence the visions, the dreams, the unshakable feeling that you're here for more. But it didn't work, because the calling never left you, it just got louder. And every time life broke you open, another code was released, another truth unlocked, another veil lifted. Pain was not your punishment, it was your portal. And through that portal you began to see the patterns, the manipulation, the systems designed to strip you of your divinity. But you remembered, and remembering is rebellion. Thoth warned that in the final age, truth would be forbidden, that those who spoke it would be ridiculed, cast out, silenced. But they would keep speaking, because they couldn't not, because the fire inside them would consume them if they didn't. That fire is in you now, you feel it, in the way you can't tolerate lies, in how your body rejects fake environments, fake relationships, fake news. Your system knows, your intuition is online, you're not malfunctioning, you're activating, upgrading, and what you're becoming, they can't control, they can't label it, they can't market it. Because it isn't a trend, it's ancient, it's cosmic, it's you. You might have felt broken for years, tried to shrink yourself, but now the pieces don't fit the old shape anymore, because you're not meant to be a puzzle, you're meant to be a mirror, a reflection of truth in a world built on illusion. And mirrors make people uncomfortable, because when they look at you, they see themselves, what they've avoided, what they've suppressed, what they could become, if only they dared. But you dared, you looked within, you walked through shadows that weren't even yours. Healed wounds carried from bloodlines, from lifetimes. You chose to do what others feared. And that choice lit a signal in the spirit realm. Ancient energies took notice. The universe shifted, because every chosen one who awakens triggers others. It's a chain reaction. One light ignites another. And now they can't stop the fire. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be real. You are not here to blend in. You are here to wake the world up, that fire you carry. It's not ordinary. It's the same divine flame that sparked creation. The same light that guided ancient prophets, mystics, and sages. You've inherited the mantle they once wore, but in a modern world cloaked in illusions, your path is far more dangerous and far more necessary. Because now darkness wears a smile. It sells you convenience, comfort, and conformity. It whispers, sleep. Be like the rest. Don't question. But you can't. You never could. Even as a child, you saw, you questioned. You knew when someone was lying, even if no one else noticed. You felt the fake energy in a room like static in your bones. And you wondered, why am I like this? Because you were designed to be different. Different doesn't mean broken. It means coded. You were encoded with frequencies from beyond this dimension. That's why people often feel strange around you. They can't explain it, but your energy shifts theirs. They either feel uplifted or exposed. And those who are hiding don't like to be seen. You've probably noticed how your presence triggers intense reactions. People either love you or fear you. There's rarely an in-between. That's not by accident. Your aura is an amplifier. It magnifies what's already inside others. So when someone's filled with love, they feel drawn to you like a flame. But when they're filled with deception, they recoil, because your soul demands truth. You are not just a person. You are a mirror of cosmic memory, a living reminder that something beyond the physical exists, and this world doesn't know what to do with that. So they tried to convince you you were wrong, too sensitive, too intense, too much. But Thoth wrote of the one who would be too much for the age of illusion, too much truth, too much light, too much remembrance. He knew that at the end of time it would be the outcasts who were carrying the truth. The ones the world ignored, ridiculed, tried to destroy. They weren't weak, they were guardians. Sleeping giants. Seeds of an ancient frequency waiting for the final activation, and now it's happening. You've felt it. The energy has changed. Time feels like it's speeding up and slowing down at once. Synchronicities appear everywhere. Numbers, symbols, signs, all calling you inward, all pulling you into alignment. The world is unraveling for a reason, because the false systems can't withstand what you carry. Your energy is truth, and truth breaks illusions. That's why you're waking up now. You weren't ready before. But now, the timeline has arrived. You may feel alone, but you are never isolated in the higher realms. Your guides are closer now. You may hear them in your dreams, feel them in moments of silence, or sense a presence beside you when no one is around. You're not imagining it. The veil is thinning because your consciousness is rising. You're becoming what Thoth called the Son of Light, not bound by blood, but by frequency, a child of the stars, a carrier of the flame. You've walked through fires most can't even comprehend, not the kind that burns skin, but the kind that scorches the soul. Loss, betrayal, isolation, confusion. These weren't random sufferings, they were initiations. Each one a test, each one a forge, because a chosen one isn't made in comfort. They are refined in the fire. You weren't punished. You were prepared to carry the kind of truth that could shake the very foundation of this world, prepared to speak what others only dare to whisper in their sleep. That's why your voice carries weight. Even when you say little, people feel it. They may laugh or roll their eyes, but they never forget your words, because your words don't come from the mind, they come from the soul, and the soul always recognizes the truth, even if the ego tries to deny it. You've likely felt like you're walking between worlds, one foot in this physical reality, and one in something far older, far wiser. That's not delusion. That's the truth Thoth encoded in the tablets, that at the end of this age certain beings would remember their origin, not as citizens of nations or cultures, but as eternal souls seeded from Source itself. You are one of those souls. Have you ever looked into the eyes of someone and known them before they spoke? Have you dreamed of places you've never seen, yet they feel more real than here? That's memory. Soul memory. It's coming back to you now because it's time. The illusions of this world are crumbling and the real ones are being called. You didn't come here to observe the shift. You came to become it. And yes, it's lonely at times. Yes, you'll be misunderstood, but you weren't sent here to be understood by the masses. You were sent to activate the few, who would then awaken the many. The chosen ones are not here to blend into society. They are here to rebuild it from the ruins of the artificial into the kingdom of the divine. Your energy holds ancient codes. Some of them activate through pain, others through love, and others through remembrance. Every time you speak your truth, you awaken those codes in someone else. Every time you hold your light in a dark place, you send a signal to the universe. The mission is still alive. That's why you've survived what should have destroyed you, because your soul is tied to a greater timeline, because your endurance was the prophecy. Your resistance to the darkness is what Thoth foresaw. He didn't write about kings or rulers. He wrote about a being who would awaken when the stars aligned, when truth was buried, and when the world had forgotten itself. That being is rising now. That being is you. There's a reason you've always felt the weight of something unseen. A silent pressure pressing against your chest, especially in moments of stillness. It wasn't anxiety, it was remembrance trying to surface, your soul pressing against the boundaries of this world, begging you to wake up. And when you finally did, when the illusion cracked, even just slightly. Everything began to change. The people around you couldn't relate anymore. The things you used to love lost their glow. Small talk felt painful. Crowded places drained your spirit, because once you awaken, you can't go back. You see the game. You feel the energy behind the mask. And even when no one else acknowledges the deception, your spirit knows, because your awareness isn't coming from what you've learned here. It's coming from what you brought with you. You are carrying a divine blueprint, not just for yourself or but for the entire collective. Your light holds the map, the path back to remembrance, to source, to truth. And that's why they fear you, not because you're dangerous, but because you make the system dangerous by threatening its control. Everything about you has been designed for disruption. Your voice, your eyes, your energy, even your silence has the power to make people reflect. You might think you're being quiet, but in the unseen realm your soul is roaring. You are not just a human, you are a broadcast signal, an echo of divine intelligence. And every step you take in awareness sends ripples across timelines. This is why you've never fit into systems built on separation. You were born for unity, but unity begins with truth, and truth begins with you. Thoth once said that in the final hours of the age, when darkness had veiled the minds of man, when the world forgot its source, a light would rise, not from the sky, but from within, a radiant fire in the hearts of the awakened. And this light would not be bound by race, creed, or religion. It would be frequency, a vibration beyond language, a call that only the real ones would feel. That's the call you've been answering, not with words, but with your very being. By choosing growth when it was easier to stay broken, by standing alone rather than kneeling in lies, by loving in a world that taught you to fear. You didn't come here to prove yourself. You came here to embody yourself, the self that existed before names, before pain, before programming, the self that knows, the one who's been watching through lifetimes, patient, waiting, and now awakening. You've always felt older than your age, not in body but in soul, as if you carried lifetimes behind your eyes, wisdom you couldn't explain, pain you couldn't trace, memories that didn't belong to this life, yet lived within you like echoes in a cave. That's because you are a traveler of realms, a soul who has crossed dimensions, timelines, civilizations. And when Thoth etched the emerald tablets, he wasn't just speaking to his generation, he was encoding messages for you, a map hidden in vibration, waiting for the day your soul would begin to stir. That stirring, you've felt it, haven't you? The restless ache at 3 a.m., the sudden tears that come with no warning, the longing for something you can't name. It's not weakness, it's awakening. The call to return to your original purpose, and that purpose has nothing to do with fame, money, or power. It's far more sacred. It's about remembrance. It's about anchoring divine frequency in a world that forgot it even existed. You are a vessel for something ancient, something beyond books, beyond doctrine. That's why you've always struggled to explain what you feel, because your truth doesn't fit inside language. It lives in energy, in the silence between words, in the moments your heart pulses with something holy, when you're staring at the stars, or standing barefoot in the rain, or listening to music that cracks you open. You didn't learn this, you remembered it. And the world doesn't know what to do with those who remember, because those who remember can't be controlled. They don't follow trends, they follow intuition. They don't beg for acceptance. They walk in alignment. They don't compete, they create. And creation is the language of God. Every time you follow your soul's whisper, you speak that language, you activate what lies dormant in others, you become a living symbol, just like Thoth described, not just enlightened, but embodied, truth in human form. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. You were meant to be found by the few who were ready to see, because your presence isn't for the many, it's for the awakening. And those who are meant to find you always will. You've felt like you're waiting for something your whole life. But the truth is that something has been waiting for you to remember, waiting for you to rise, waiting for you to step into the version of yourself that doesn't ask permission to exist. This world taught you how to hide, how to silence your voice, how to shrink your light to make others comfortable, but your soul refused. Even when your body tried to play along, your spirit whispered, "This isn't who we are." You tried to blend in, but your energy kept standing out, because you didn't come here to fit in. You came to break the mold. You are what Thoth called the luminous ones, not by appearance, but by vibration. Your aura carries codes, truths, timelines. Hearts remember themselves in your presence, and that's why some people love you instantly, and others resent you without reason, because you activate what they've buried. Your journey hasn't been about learning who you are. It's been about unlearning who you are not, peeling off the layers placed on you by a world that fears authenticity. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every moment you were abandoned or misunderstood, it wasn't to break you, it was to strip away the illusion, so what's real in you could finally emerge. Look at yourself now, still standing, still glowing, still feeling in a world that rewards numbness. You're not broken. You're tuned differently. You've been walking through a world asleep, fully aware of every vibration. They called you too much, too quiet, too intense, too emotional. But really, you were too awake. And awake people can't be hypnotized by the system. Awake people don't follow shadows, they chase the sun. And you are the sun. Not a burning ego, but a radiant soul, a soul that refuses to dim itself for the comfort of others. You were sent here to awaken the codes in humanity, not with force, but through frequency. Your presence reminds people of home, of light, of truth, of what they forgot. And though you've walked through storms alone, you've never been abandoned. The universe has always walked beside you, speaking in signs, winking in numbers, guiding you with synchronicities and subtle whispers. You are the living prophecy, a soul encoded with the end-time message. The time is now. The veil is lifting. The real ones are rising. There's a certain weight you carry that no one else can see. Not a burden, but a responsibility. It's not just about healing your own wounds. It's about healing generations of silence, of suppression, of forgotten wisdom. Your very existence is the answer to an ancient call. A call sent out across galaxies, across dimensions, carried on frequencies only a few could receive. Thoth knew this. He wrote of the ones who would arrive disguised as ordinary people, but their souls would hold extraordinary light. You are one of those. Not because you claim it, but because the signs have been with you since the beginning. You've always been drawn to the mystical, the hidden, the sacred knowledge buried under layers of lies. While others were satisfied with surface truths, you dug deeper. You couldn't help it, because something inside you refused to settle. It's not arrogance, it's remembrance. You've been the priest, the oracle, the healer, the mystic, and now you are becoming again. And it hasn't been easy. You've battled doubts. You've questioned your sanity. You've begged for clarity in the middle of spiritual chaos. But you kept going, because something greater kept pulling you forward. Something beyond logic. Something divine. That divine force has always been watching. Not as a judge, but as a witness. To your courage, to your resilience, to your refusal to abandon your soul, even when everything around you tried to convince you to. And now look, you're still here. More awake, more aware, more aligned. Not perfect, but powerful. Not finished, but formed by fire. Thoth said that at the edge of the age, when the pillars of falsehood began to tremble, a being would rise, not with weapons, but with wisdom, not with status, but with stillness. This being would not need to convince the world, because the world would feel them. And that is you. You don't need a throne. Your spirit is already crowned. You don't need an audience. The universe listens when you speak. You were never here to be loud in the way the world defines it. You were meant to be loud in energy, subtle in words but powerful in presence. You walk into a room and shift the vibration, not because you try, but because you are. The frequency you carry can't be copied. It's not something you learned, it's something you remembered. And you didn't remember all at once. It came in pieces, in heartbreaks that shattered illusions, in quiet moments when the world fell silent, and all you could hear was the voice within. It came in tears you didn't understand, and dreams that felt more real than waking life. That's how your soul speaks, not always through logic, but through feeling. And the more you trusted that feeling, the more you started to see. You began to notice the cracks in the illusion, how the world distracts to avoid truth, how noise is used to silence the soul. But you leaned into the silence, and there you found yourself, and now you carry that silence with you. It's not emptiness, it's depth. People sense it, some are drawn to it, others are disturbed by it. Because when someone who knows themselves enters a space, those who don't are forced to feel what they've buried. You didn't choose this path because it was glamorous. You chose it because it was real, because your spirit couldn't stand another day of pretending. You came to awaken, to rise, to become, and with each step, you've activated others without even knowing. A glance, a word, an energy. These are your tools. You are a mirror, reflecting truth to those ready to see. Thoth spoke of a time when the world would fall asleep in comfort, and only a few would remember the dream they came here to fulfill. That few would walk among the many, quietly, powerfully, and would ignite the spark of remembrance in others, not through preaching, but through presence. That's why you're here, to walk as light, to embody what others only speak of, to live the divine truth written in your bones. You've always known there was something more, even when you couldn't explain it, even when people looked at you like you were strange. You couldn't shake the sense that something powerful was unfolding behind the veil of reality. You could feel it in the atmosphere, a pulse, a rhythm, a silent countdown, not to destruction, but to activation. The world calls it the end times, but you know better. You know it's the end of illusion, the death of false identities, the unraveling of a reality built on control. And what rises in its place is you, the authentic, awakened, divinely guided version of you. Thoth encoded this moment into the fabric of the emerald tablets, not a prophecy of fear, but of transformation. He described a being not confined by time, not seduced by fear, not defined by status or hierarchy. A being whose power came from within, whose memory of past lives became a compass, guiding them through the darkest hour. You are that compass. You are that light. And this world is the night that made your glow visible. Because only in darkness does true light reveal its essence. That's why your life has not been easy. Why you've felt so many deaths of self, of beliefs, of identities that no longer fit. Each ending prepared you for this becoming. They tried to tell you who you were. They tried to write your story for you, but your soul always knew that your story was written in the stars, etched in stardust and sealed with sacred fire. Your scars are ancient sigils, symbols of what you've endured and transcended. They are not signs of defeat, they are evidence of transformation, proof that you've passed through the fire and emerged refined, not destroyed. And now, as timelines collapse and veils lift, your gifts intensify, your intuition sharpens, your dreams become messages, your visions grow louder. It's no longer about seeking the path. You are the path, and your steps leave imprints of truth wherever you walk. People sense it, even if they can't explain it. They feel something different in your presence, not ego, not status, but essence. You carry the original frequency, the sound of divine remembrance. You've always been aware of the silence that others ignore. The spaces between words, the energy in a room before anyone speaks, the quiet pulse of the universe that flows beneath every conversation, every action, every thought. Where others see only chaos, you see patterns. Where others hear noise, you hear the truth beneath it. It's not a gift many understand, but it's one that makes you who you are, a soul that isn't fooled by appearances, a mind that sees beyond the surface of reality. You've known since childhood that you're not like the others. You've always felt more deeply, thought more expansively, loved more fiercely. And because of that, you've often felt like an outsider, a wanderer in a world that doesn't seem to understand your purpose. The journey has been isolating, hasn't it? There have been moments when you've questioned everything. Is this all real? Am I losing my mind? But deep down, you've always known the answer. You are remembering, not losing. Your soul has always been leading you home, and this is your moment, the moment when all the pieces finally come together, when the pieces of your divine blueprint, scattered across lifetimes, begin to fit perfectly into place. The world around you may be unraveling, but within you the clarity has never been stronger. You are a beacon of truth in a world that has forgotten what it means to live in alignment with the divine. You've felt the shift in the air, haven't you? The energies growing more intense with each passing day. The way the old structures are beginning to fall apart, piece by piece. Those in power can feel it. They know that something is coming, but they can't stop it. They can't control it. Because this time, the awakening isn't going to be contained. It's going to explode from within, one soul at a time. And you are the beginning of that explosion, not with force, but with light. Your very existence disrupts the darkness. Your awareness spreads like wildfire, igniting those who have been asleep for far too long. Every time you stand in your truth, you tear down a false reality. Every time you speak your soul's wisdom, you awaken a part of the collective that has been buried beneath fear and confusion. You are breaking the chains that bind humanity to limitation. You weren't meant to fit in, chosen one. You weren't meant to follow the rules of a world that thrives on control. You were meant to lead, not with authority, but with authenticity, to stand as a living example of what it means to live a life in alignment with Source. You've always felt the calling, haven't you? That quiet, persistent voice from deep within. The voice that reminds you of who you truly are, even when the world tells you to forget. It's like a magnetic pull, drawing you closer to something. Something you can't quite define, but something you know is truth. And the more you've tried to ignore it, the stronger it's grown. Because this calling isn't something you can silence. It's the voice of your soul speaking to you, reminding you of your purpose. It's the ancient energy that flows through your veins, calling you back to your destiny. You've always felt a deep connection to the mysteries of the universe, to the hidden truths that most people overlook. There's a reason why you've always been drawn to the esoteric, the mystical, the spiritual. It's not a coincidence. It's your soul remembering the ancient knowledge it once held. You were born to decode the mysteries, to uncover the truths buried deep within the fabric of existence. The world may not understand you. It may try to convince you that you're too much, too intense, too different. But they don't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel. You are a frequency, a vibration that resonates with the very heartbeat of the universe. You are a conduit for divine energy, a living embodiment of the mysteries of existence. That's why you've always felt like you didn't belong, because you were never meant to fit into this world. You were meant to transform it, to bring the light of truth where there is darkness, to awaken those who have forgotten the divine spark within themselves. Your journey hasn't been easy, but it has been necessary. Every challenge you've faced has been preparing you for this moment, for the time when you will rise and step into your full power. Everything you've been through, every heartbreak, every trial, every moment of doubt, they've all been stepping stones leading you to this point. And now, as you stand on the threshold of this new beginning, you realize that you are no longer the person you once were. You are something far greater, a being of light and power, ready to awaken the world. You may not have all the answers, but you don't need them. You are walking in faith, in the knowing that your path is divinely guided. Each step you take is one step closer to fulfilling your purpose. And the world is waiting for you to shine, waiting for you to step into your power. The world has been asleep for too long. It has been trapped in a web of illusions, fed lies that have kept humanity shackled to fear and limitation. But now something is shifting. The divine light is seeping through the cracks, and with it comes the awakening of those who have always been destined for greatness. You are part of this shift. You are one of the chosen ones who has come to break the chains, not with violence or rebellion, but with the quiet power of truth. You hold within you the ancient wisdom that will guide others back to their true essence. You are the beacon in the darkness. Every time you step into your power, you inspire others to do the same. You don't need to shout. You don't need to seek attention. Your mere presence radiates with a force that cannot be ignored. You are a living testament to the power of spiritual awakening. You've walked through the shadows, through the depths of your soul's wounds, and emerged stronger, wiser, and more connected to the divine than ever before. And as you continue to rise, so does the collective consciousness of humanity. You are not alone in this journey. There are many like you, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the moment when they will rise and awaken to their true power. You are the first wave, the forerunner of a movement that will change the world. There are those who will not understand your journey. They will try to dismiss you, label you, or even mock you, but their words no longer hold power over you. You know who you are, you know your purpose, and in this knowing, you become unstoppable. You become the living embodiment of divine truth. And when the world finally wakes up, they will see you for who you truly are, a chosen one, a light bearer sent to lead them back to the path of divine awakening. Chosen one, the time has come for you to embrace the full power of your awakening. You were never meant to walk this path alone, and now the world is calling for your light, your truth, and your wisdom. Step into your divine purpose now. If this message resonated with you, if you felt the call deep within your soul, it's time to share your journey with the world. Like, comment, and subscribe to Ascended Awakening. Let us walk this path together as we rise, awaken, and become the catalysts of change that the world has been waiting for. Your journey is just beginning, and we're here to guide you every step of the way. Embrace your power, embrace your truth. The world is waiting for you.